Thanks to a Madison win in Lansing earlier today, Greenville has the chance to return home one more time with a victory tonight. In their way, South Georgia's Tormenta, their regional rival, looking to spoil the party like they did back when it all started on March 29th. It's the 5th chapter of Tormenta and Greenville coming up next on ESPN+. We kicked off the USL League One 2019 campaign here in Statesboro, Georgia. That's where we are today. Final match day, final match of the regular season. And again, it's Tormenta and Greenville meeting for a 5th time in all competitions this year. A budding rivalry here in USL League One. I'm Chris Makoviak. Bring you into Irk Russell Park once again this year for the final time as Tormenta trying to defend their home field, but they haven't been able to win at home in their last 6. It's been a bit of a struggle the second half of the campaign, but one consistent force out there has been Pablo Jara and this defense. And in the last 11, they have not been able to get the 3 points. But of course, this defense at times has shined. They've kept their team in games, and of course, they only have 4 games with 2 or more goals allowed over the last 11. So they have kind of been lost in the shadow of these defeats down the stretch, but Pablo Jara has kept them in so many tense moments with big saves just like that. And surely he'll have to do the same here tonight against Greenville to keep the triumph off the board from heading back home for a semifinal in the playoffs next week. On the other side, it's Dallas Jay that we're keeping an eye on for the Greenville Triumph. And Jay, more than likely an MVP candidate. He was recently named Player of the Month as well for doing tricks like this and keeping Greenville, his own side, in the game. He's clearly the Golden Glove leader at this point at .692 GAA this season. And Greenville, they've been known for defense the entire season, but actually their last 3 matches they have been unable to get a clean sheet. That is one thing to keep an eye on today. Lansing only got 1 shot on target here today against Madison. Surely a top defensive effort could stymie them in the semifinal to come next week, whether in Lansing or Greenville in the USL League One playoffs. And here's where we stand entering tonight's match. Currently 2 other matchups going on, but they do not affect the playoff standings as they are. Madison did clinch a playoff spot. 4th overall, they'll face North Texas next week in their semifinal. Lansing and Greenville, we're still deciding who's going to host that other semifinal. That will be decided tonight. If Greenville wins against Tormenta, they will host that semifinal. So much on the line for them. Tormenta on the other side trying to spoil the party. We'll see which prevails in this rivalry. Coming up next on ESPN+, Tormenta and Greenville, Chapter 5.
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Kick your internet into high gear with Bullet Broadband, a division of Bullet Telephone Cooperative. Hey, I'm John Scott, General Manager of Bullet Telephone and the new Bullet Broadband. Bullet Broadband offers the fastest internet speed in Georgia with managed Wi-Fi and speeds up to 1 gig. And if you're a business owner, we didn't leave you out. We can help increase productivity with computer networking, cloud hosting, custom emails, and the highest internet speeds around. Kick your internet into high gear and see what Bullet Broadband can do for you.
There was a time when advertising was much more simple. Technology may have changed the way people live, but it offers you exciting new ways to market your business.
That's why CAC keeps up with all the latest trends in advertising methods to help you reach your customers wherever they are.
Targeted, focused internet and television advertising. CAC is your marketing partner that makes it all simple again and makes it all work together for you.
Contact us today and let's keep moving your business forward together.
Welcome back here into Statesboro, Georgia. Greenville and Tormenta. Final edition of this matchup here in 2019 as we get set here at Irk Russell Park. Let's take a look at our Coca-Cola starting 11s, beginning with the home side. And head coach John Milracy of Tormenta calling this his most competitive lineup that he's been able to put out in quite a while with all the injuries going on. And a big name back is Neil Vignals, who will settle in at a central midfield spot. And what he really does is break down opposing back lines at the top, finds the gaps to allow Dennis, Morel, among others, to go make the runs down the field and score, of course. He's been a big force missing and actually got hurt the last time these two teams played on August 3rd. He's missed 8 matches since then. Greenville on the other side, a very fluid look for them. Dominic Bolin, watch for him to make launches up the right wing with his runs, but also can settle back if they need him in a sort of a 5-back look. Of course, of note, Aaron Walker back out there for the Triumph after missing the match against Orlando City B, a loss for the Triumph and a key player out there for John Harkes tonight. Here's our bracket look as of now. Of course, Madison and North Texas, they are locked in for a semifinal in Frisco, Texas next week to be determined who will host Greenville or Lansing. Of course, a Triumph victory tonight, and they will be hosting that matchup coming up either next Friday or Saturday. Cameron Saul and the Triumph getting us going from Statesboro, Georgia, in the 5th matchup in all competitions of this new rivalry in the Southeast United States. I'm Chris McCovic bringing the action here from Irk Russell Park, and an exciting matchup due to that Madison win earlier today. That gives life to Greenville, a win tonight, and they will host a semifinal. Otherwise, no trip back to Legacy Early College for another match here in 2019. Pollock and Greenville starting with the ball on the far side. Our head official for tonight's match, Chris Ruska. Muhammad down the right flank. Here's Seiler pushing up from his right back spot. Bolin on the run as well, knocked out of play. And just like that, the Triumph threatening in the final third. John Harkes has told us in the past really what has helped with the injuries of some players like Hemmings or Keegan being done for the season is, in fact, so many versatile players on this Greenville side. Seiler and Bolin among them that can play at so many different spots. An early set piece here for Greenville as Clouds won the ball going down. You see Aaron Walker wearing the captain's armband. No look here. Pretty clear foul there by Ricardo Gomez, former Myrtle Beach Mutiny player. And something really being planned out by Greenville here. See what they come out of this with. This is a sort of position even Aaron Walker can take a shot. He has 2 goals from outside the box this season. Right now it's Clouds, Pollock, and Walker over the ball. Knock it over. Walker the strike and just wide. He indeed did have a go, but Hara not needing to worry about that one as it's into the signage. Another look here. Really trying to fool Tormenta with that runoff by Clouds. But Walker just drilling that out of play, but an early shot for the Triumph. Again, Tormenta, one of the front runners at the beginning of the year. They began the season, their first 16, 8-3-5, 29 points, 5-1-1 at home. And I point out that home record because they're 0-3-3 since that initial run in their last 11 matches at home. 0-6-5 overall, just 5 points in their last 11. And part of why they are not battling for a playoff spot here tonight. But mostly that due to injuries this season, unfortunately, for John Milracy and his side. They get a few back tonight in Neil Vignals. Dennis and Morel are back this evening as well, and a more complete roster for John Milracy to work with. And obviously something to play for, trying to force your rivals to lose some of those dreams there of a home semifinal despite making the playoffs. So a lot on the line for both sides, and especially headed into the 2020 campaign next year. Cameron Saul will knock it on. Saul dealt with some injuries at the beginning of the campaign, but has really come on as of late, especially with the Jake Keegan injury. He has back-to-back Team of the Week nods. And he's settling up top. Watch for him to be the main center forward in this lineup for Greenville this evening. Seiler on back to Dallas J, again leading the battle for the Golden Glove here in League One. Walker to the far side. Pollock through ball down the left wing. Here comes Cameron Saul. Edge of the box, puts it over. Phelps to stop. And it's Connor Antley trying to get out of there. He'll finally clear it downfield. Speaking of versatile players, Jad Arslan working into the right wing spot. Has been a fullback as well in the lineup. They do many things. I guess you can call him a Tormenta legend. Has been with the squad every year of their existence, whether at USL League 2 or League 1. The two teams tonight that like to have possession on their side. John Moresi even telling us this week that really it's changed in the preparation for Greenville. They're kind of a different squad in how they approach games from the beginning of the year. They played a more expansive style of play, trying to get out to the wingers of Bermudez and Muhammad earlier this season, but things have changed and the preparation has as well. That was one problem for Greenville last week against Orlando City B. They had to play sort of a different formation look, more of a diamond, John Harks told us, with Aaron Walker out on yellow card accumulation. That forced Paul Klaus to be the sole defensive mid out there working from the back and trying to spur the offense. And John Harks was honest, said he wasn't pleased with his own coaching. He thought he asked too much of his wingers defensively. And you see that change today reflected with Chris Bermudez potentially coming off the bench in the second half tonight. Category 5 in attendance, of course, along with the Tormenta faithful for the final home match and final match of 2019 for the Tormenta League 1 side. The Reedy River Riot and the Greenville Triumph front office making the trip down as well to support the squad. So a great showing here today, similar to that match on March 29th that opened up the inaugural campaign here in USL League 1. Here's Knutson at the left back spot tonight. Was a center back with the injury to Lars Eckenrode earlier this season, but moved over to the left back spot with the appearance of Skelton. Here's Hara taking it from the back. Tormenta, you can see 5-4-4 at home this year, but they started 5-1-1. They were one of the last undefeated home teams here in League 1 as well, as this ball falls to Jay. That's been a big part of this skid in the last 11 for Tormenta. Greenville on the other side on the road, 5-4-4, so similar records, identical records, for both sides. And Greenville, a majority of those road victories coming in the second half of the campaign. A foul is won by Muhammad, knocked down from behind, and another set piece just outside the box for the road side. Another look here as Pollock drove this downfield once again. And Skelton pretty clear there, two hands on the back in the push. And what a chance for the Triumph here. We'll see what they can think of here on this free kick. It's Pollock over the ball, but Walker nearby him. The co-captains of this 2019 team. Ball whipped in by Pollock, swept down by Phelps, still alive in the box though, and swept away by Micheletto. It will be a foul on the other side as well. Our clubhouse teased the game tonight. For Greenville, discipline in transition from the point of view of don't give up clumsy fouls too much. They've given away a few set-piece goals in the last few matches that have forced these clean sheets not to come to them. And for Tormenta on the other side, with Antley launching up, trying to get those forwards downfield to help out with the offense, provide cover, be patient, and keep an eye, of course, on this Greenville attack, because as you can see, one long ball from this back line downfield and a push on Muhammad, something like that, then Greenville on the other side can get their own set pieces, try to cause some havoc in front of the pipes. And sloppy rebounds have been an issue for opponents of Greenville, and you have to attribute some of that to Gomez, his recent run of form, his ability to pounce on some of those rebounds, put them in, kind of like Jake Keegan did to start the year. Ball whipped in. Dennis there, flicks it on. Morrell! Can't get it by Jay! A diving stop with the right paw. And Seiler will work it out of there with Boland. What an early opportunity for Tormenta. They're off and running here at Irk Russell Park. Continue the fight for the ball, out of play. Boland and Knutson going after, but let's take another look here. Micheletto, the service in, deflected down, and Dennis, not sure if he intended the pass back, but nonetheless, Jay was there, and a pinpoint shot by Alex Morel. Another look here. What a strike. Morel had the lone goal in that season opener between the two on March 29th, the first goal in League One history, trying to find another against Greenville there. Funny enough, Tormenta has not scored against Greenville since that opening battle of the season. The other matchups went 1-0 in the Open Cup, 1-0 to Greenville in both of those battles, the other being a League One battle, and then also a 0-0 typical defensive draw between the two as well at Legacy Early College. John Harkes at the helm of Greenville, clinching a playoff spot with their 3-2 immaculate victory in Tucson last week. They had 3 games in 1 week, including that trip out to Arizona, so really fatigue did play a factor. He was pretty honest about that in our talk this week. Along with Aaron Walker being out, it was a tall task for Greenville, a player that John Harkes says really dictates the ebbs and flows of the game for Greenville in his central midfield position. There is Walker getting a touch, but he spurs a through ball up ahead to Morel. Trying to get around Seiler. End line, Morel back across, but deflected away. Evan Lee was there, guiding the ball out of the box at the throw in on the near side for Tormenta. Another look here, the wingers off and running for Tormenta so far. Knocked in by Knutson, but nothing there as Jad Arson got lost a bit in the white kits in the box. And Tormenta unable to make the playoffs this year. They're in sole possession of 7th. They win today in a loss by Toronto. They would finish up at 6th place. But Greenville on the other side, they made the playoffs and now trying to get a home semifinal, which certainly helps the cause when you're 7-4-3 at home. Giving away at the back is Polak. Micheletto, cross, knocked down by Polak and out of play. Tormenta really putting the pressure on Greenville early on in this match. He'll give it off to Connor Antley. Antley, 5 goals, 6 assists this season. One of the top fullbacks here in League One from the point of view of his ability to launch down the field with the offense. Dennis, Micheletto, here comes Tormenta. Gomez, he'll drive into this one. Good look here for Tormenta. Offsides though on Antley. Headed shot would have been out of play as well. Goal kick coming for Dallas J. And Greenville at this point trying to absorb this early pressure from Tormenta. Just a step off, it looks like. As Antley got the headed shot off, Jay will kick this into the night here in Statesboro, Georgia. Seiler heads it on. Knocked out of play. Midfield will be a throw in for Knutson and Tormenta. Last win for Tormenta coming all the way back on July 24th. 4-1 at Orlando City B. Included a couple of tallies combining between Antley and Micheletto, and it was the same attack we're seeing tonight, really using the wings, putting balls in. And at times Micheletto found the opening in the box. Unable to find the opening there is Morel. Here's Muhammad the other way. Ball off, did Cameron Saul under it. He had 2 goals, a brace against Tucson in that victory last Tuesday. But unfortunately, one of the largest upsets of the year hit Greenville, a 1-0 loss to Orlando City B. frustrating loss for John Harkes and his side, considering the chances in the match. But it was kind of a wonky free kick that allowed OCB to take the lead. A jumbled mess that Jay lost sight of the ball and it trickled on through. And it was the first road win as well for Orlando City B this year. Gomez lofting the ball, stretching things beyond Pollock, but Arslan can't get there as well, as the West Virginia grad will let it go out of play. Two teams very similar in style this season, only fitting their regional rivals. As that ball goes out of play and it's knocked out by Pollock. It's a throw-in for Tormenta. You can see some of the Greenville staff and fans out in attendance, making the trip on down from the upstate of South Carolina. Antley. Flicked on, back towards Antley. Paul Litz coming over, but cross went in anyway, not really threatening in the end, as Bolin will charge upfield, a player that is a right back, but has contributed as a right winger in the second half of the season. And when you talk about these two teams, they're very similar, but similar also in they had contrasting first and second halves of the year. For Greenville, it was a slow start, 13 points in their first 12, but in their last 15, a 9-3-3 record, 30 points, and they're into the playoffs at this section of the season. Ball off to downfield, out of play, as it's Arslan now working the left wing, trying to get after that one. Select is the official ball supplier of USL League One and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Select ball about to be hit downfield by Dallas J. Former FC Cincinnati and Phoenix Rising goalkeeper. Phelps coming on and knocking it back over to Hara. Knocked on by Seiler, might have been offsides. No, he was not. There was one anyway by Tormenta. Here's Paul Klaus, the Clemson player, knocking it over to Saul. Saul through traffic, still with the ball, but Antley, a last-second tackle, will keep it away. Battle for the ball on the far side. Play continues, though. Flicked on, though, towards Saul. Pressure from behind. Knocked on into the box, striking it, and back of the net. Carlos Gomez striking true here in minute 18, his 7th of the season, and the triumph up on the road. You could not ask for a better weighted ball from the left wing on a platter for the Spaniard. He has been a big part of why the Triumph have made the second half run. 2 times as player of the week in the last few weeks. And watch this build up. Saul fights through that pressure, maybe could have been a foul, but advantage played, and Gomez striking that just before Skelton could get there. And how big could that goal truly be? Does that send Greenville back home for a semifinal next week to be determined in the rest of this match? But an excellent start and response by Greenville, considering the pressure and the amount of chances early on here at Urquhart Park for Tormenta in this match. Ball out of play. It'll go to Greenville on the other side. You have to think the assist there will go to Cameron Saul at the end of the day. That's been the big story with this Greenville side. A few weeks ago, Hemmings and Keegan were announced out with season-ending injuries, 2 key starters in the second half of the campaign. A lot of question marks surround Greenville if they would even make the playoffs, but this team has surely rallied, putting their most goals up in the last few matches. Right after that announcement, they put a 4 spot on FC Tucson. A big part of that has been Gomez and Cameron Saul. J.J. Donnelly, if you noticed in our open, not part of the 18 here today for Greenville. No homecoming for him back for his Tormenta 2 days this summer. Unfortunately, he was listed as questionable with a knock this week, and he's unavailable here tonight, but the offense has come to play anyway for Greenville. As Jay almost losing this to Micheletto. Took that with ease despite the pressure as Vignals works that back. Had a hefty brace on against Toronto when he came off the bench in the second half last week. Skelton moves it up over to Gomez, and they try to build from the back. And Greenville has been excellent this season, 11-1-1 when scoring the first goal in matches. That one loss came against FC Tucson when they had the opener by Gomez, but gave up 3 later on in the match. And for Tormenta, 2-7-5 when conceding the first goal. No team in League One has more than 2 comeback victories, and among that group is Tormenta. Jay will have the goal kick upcoming here at Russell Park. Fans, you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN through the 2022 season. The USL is excited to announce that the championship and League One will remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 games on ESPN Deportes. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. And of course, ESPN Plus will be the home of the 2 semifinals here in USL League One. Coming up next week, it will be Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for the matchup in Frisco, Texas. El Plastico once more, Forward Madison, number 4 seed, and the number 1 seed, North Texas SC. Greenville and Lansing will do battle in the other matchup to be determined if it's Friday night or Saturday night, and which venue it will call home. At the moment, it will be home to Greenville at Legacy Early College with this 1-0 lead via Carlos Gomez. Knocked on by and back to the Greenville defense. The assembly line and Lansing Unite have to be tuning into this one. And they will be hoping for either a draw or a Tormenta win, and that would lock up a hosting spot at Cooley Law School Stadium in Lansing, Michigan. Gomez brings it back in. Down the field, chance for Tormenta. No, Dallas J off his line, and he'll pick it up. And funny enough, both these contending teams, number 2 and number 3 in the standings, they went down 1-0 in the last 2 weeks in League One. For Greenville, it was a shocking result against Orlando City B on the road last week. Assembly line obviously cheering that result and all the Lansing fans, but earlier today it was 1-0 in favor of Forward Madison. A tough rivalry battle for Lansing in that regard. But it was a J.C. Banks tally in that proved the difference, and luckily for Lansing, Stephon Cleveland even kept them in the game with a PK save, but fortunately too little too late. Just 1 shot on target on the board, and it is attributed really to Madison's defense that has come into form of late. 5 goals allowed in the last 12, including today. They have locked things down defensively with this recent run. Siler a run forward, puts the cross in, but cool, calm, and collected is this Tormenta defense getting it out of there with 3 white kits around them. Tormenta back the other way, 29 goals this season. They're about 1.1 per game. Here's Dennis, quick turn. Dennis trying to get around Polak. He'll put it in, but just beyond the reach of Arslan, and it falls to Boland. Charlie Dennis, another versatile player for his Tormenta side. He's actually more of a natural left back, left wing back in a 5-back formation, but he's been playing center forward, winger up the field at times this season for John Milracy. And you wouldn't know the difference, but his big frame allows that hold-up play, and he can make service like that. He's led Tormenta in created chances for most of the season. And he's battled at times with Arturo Rodriguez of North Texas SC for the top spot and created chances here in League One earlier on in the campaign. As Phelps will swing this all the way back towards Pablo Jara. Greenville leading the overall series this summer 2-1-1, including that Open Cup opening round victory 1-0, where the Legacy Leap became a term as Seiler scored a late winner, and jumping up with the Reedy River Riot. Greenville in the next round falling short at home to the Charleston Battery, who scored 2 goals late, and it was Max Hemming scoring in that one, his only goal for Greenville so far in his early career as a pro. Tormenta still trying to get this offense going. Try a left flank now with Arslan. Arslan strikes it, but right off the left leg of Seiler. There's Gomez. Thought about a whack, but he'll give it off instead to Morel, the former Tampa Bay Rowdy. Moving it left side to Knutson. Central Arkansas grad. Cross in, knocked down by Jay. Still around, and Arslan finishes at home. Is that a goal? It is. Tormenta have tied in a jumbled mess. Dallas Jay couldn't grab onto it, and Arslan there to pounce. We'll have to take another look at this one. No foul called on the play, and Tormenta, we talked about sloppy rebounds. There is one, and they tie it up. All you have to do is put the ball in a dangerous spot, and that's exactly what they do. Knutson in, Jay there, and off of Lee. One of those awkward plays where Jay just did not grab a hold of it, slipped out of his hands, and Dennis did enough there to cause havoc and force the ball out wide. And Jad Arslan opening his account here this season on the final match day with the tally. It was Knutson with the initial cross in, but Arslan the finish on the sloppy hop from Jay, and that goal brought to you by Jad Arslan and South Beach Tan. What a start here to our final match in the USL League One regular season. 1-1 Greenville and Tormenta. And this is the first time in now their 5 matchups this season that both teams have scored a goal in the same match. Micheletto down the right side. Here comes Tormenta once again. Ball sent over. Lee there, so is Dennis, but through his legs, couldn't handle it. Not only are the Tormenta fans cheering, so are the Lansing ones up in Michigan. A draw here, and Lansing would be hosting that semifinal as the 2 seed. Knocked out of play. Bowling getting the deflection there, and it's a throw-in on the near side for the Triumph. Saul strikes it, wishful one, slicing it up into the night here in Statesboro. And we showed you it before. Tormenta's record when conceding first, 2-7-5. So keep that in mind. 2 comeback wins, but at the same time, 5 comeback draws. They've been down and out in games before, and certainly they've equalized here tonight once again. Knutson back over to Skelton. And in fact, Tormenta been up and down in games before. 3 times they've led in games while also falling behind in the same match. Long ball down the field. Tormenta back on the attack, no offsides. And that'll be number 2 of the match against South Georgia. There is Jad Arslan, our opening goal scorer. Right place, right time. Had 15 goals in his career as a Mountaineer at West Virginia. 7 goals in his Tormenta 2 career over 3 years. There's Knutson. On the run of Morrell. Down the left side, Morrell 4 goals, 3 assists this season. Cuts around, top of the box, deflected up. Jay going after it, he loses it again, headed up and in. What's the decision here? At the moment, it's a goal by Jad Arslan, and that will stand as of now. So our head official tonight dictating things. But no, they are talking on the side at this point. What happened? As of now, it is a goal. We'll see if this changes, though, as Dallas J contact again. No goal. It has been waved off and a free kick to Greenville. Morrell here. Let's take a look for the contact. Ball sent in on the deflection. And you can see Micheletto there. A bit of the interference there, so that's probably what the foul is called for. You can understand why nothing was called on the first goal with the bobbled mess out of the hands for Dallas J, but on the second one, plenty of contact there, and probably the right call by our head officials. And we're back underway. It stays 1-1, but proves the point. Tormenta, they're off and running from these wings, putting chances over. And Jad Arslan having a heck of a game here to start off at Eric Russell Park. Here's Saul, loses it to Gomez. And Greenville, this offense just can't build forward at this point. Down the field, out of play. Throwing on the near side for Seiler, the Anderson, South Carolina native. Pollock left side. And Greenville taking their time building here, trying to assess the situation a bit. As Politz, an abnormal loss at the back, and a tackle from behind by Aaron Walker, a yellow card. Not too surprised to see that on that late challenge. And Walker beside himself for the call. He thought he didn't make contact. For the first booking of the evening going to Greenville. That's yellow card number 5 of the year on Walker. Micheletto did get the ball away in time, so you can understand the foul there. Micheletto gets a yellow as well. And you have to expect that Tormenta's argument there was last man standing with that through ball going downfield. It would have been a run in on goal, but no red card. It stays as a yellow. And Micheletto's still talking after the card. And it is for dissent, is what we're hearing. And Knutson even there trying to get in the way. As for Micheletto, that's yellow card number 9 on the year, and that's a League One leading number 9. It's Chris Ruska having to deal with a lot of controversy here early on. Chance here for Tormenta. Dennis over the ball. Greenville trying the trap. It worked anyway with the ball sailing out of play. It's a goal kick for Dallas J. So Greenville for the 4th straight match as well will not get the clean sheet. Something that has been their staple all year. They'll stay in the lead in the league in clean sheets with 13 entering the playoffs. Tormenta have 9. They led that stat for most of the season. Then North Texas and Greenville continued their runs. North Texas has 12 overall as Jay sails that up the field. And a foul is called on Cameron Saul. Another player goes down here for Tormenta, and this Connor Antley. He's slow to get up. Another look at it here. Saul going after the ball and catching some contact to the foot of Antley as he went after it. Back to Dallas J. He'll take it into the box and reset things. And in the lead up to this match, we asked both head coaches what constitutes a rivalry. If they thought this was a rivalry, John Milracy said he believes his team sees every game as just another match, not trying to evaluate too much in the opponent, and said really, rivalries come from history, the moments in those battles over time, and it's still in the first year despite being the 5th matchup for John Harkes. He sees it as a natural regional rivalry just based on location that these two teams play to. An interesting perspective for both sides. John Harkes seeing it more as one currently. John Milracy may see it something more in the future. But if John Milracy is talking about moments, that moment may come tonight. 1-1 here in the 36th minute, and so much on the line for Greenville. And early on, some tension between the sides on the field. In for a good one here in Statesboro, Georgia. Bombing up the field, but it's back to Pablo Jara, the Chilean keeper. 64 saves this season, entering the match. Has started all games here for Tormenta in 2019. Their scoring summary, Gomez got us going with his pass into the box from Saul, but then Arslan a quick response, and it was kind of a sloppy play, abnormal from the Greenville defense, where Jay went up for the ball, lost it. Dennis was there, caused all the players to go down, and it rolled free to Arslan, slotted it home for his first of the season, and we're all tied 1-1. Walker playing it on back over to Lee. Looking for the latest USL League One news and content? Follow at USL League One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for exclusive access and updates. Greenville trying out the right flank. They'll lose it, though. Right now at the end of the regular season upon us, save of the month and goal of the month up. So tune in for that voting. Head to USL League One social media or USLLeague1.com as always. Ball off the downfield and out of play. And it's a throw in for Greenville on the other side. Four shots for Tormenta to this point, 2 on target, 3 for Greenville. Just 1 on target, and that being the goal, of course. There's Gomez. Vignals. Out to Morel. Skelton cutting it back, and so much on the line for Greenville, as we mentioned. A win, and they will host the semifinal against Lansing next week. A draw or a loss, and they will go to Lansing, Michigan. Coming up at halftime, we'll take you to the Lansing-Madison highlights from earlier today, as Jay will grab this one at the near post. It was a 1-0 Madison victory that allowed Greenville to keep their hopes alive for a home semifinal, and of course, a huge victory for Madison, clinching their own playoff berth as the number 4 seed. We were expecting a lot, League One fans, from these two rivalry matchups, and they have serviced that well today as we head into minute 39 and beyond here from Statesboro, Georgia. Seiler through ball up ahead. Here's Boland. Bolin cross into the legs of Skelton. It's out for a Greenville throw-in. Still alive for Greenville. There's Seiler heading it up. Gomez now. Dennis. Saul breaking free, cutting through the traffic. Still alive with Saul, but losing it. Now Seiler, right side, plays it in. Muhammad is there, but it skirts right by his outstretched leg. What a set play there by Greenville. Out of Saul, really caught in traffic. That's been Greenville's problem in this match so far, getting numbers forward. Nicoletto, open through ball. Here's Charlie Dennis. Dennis cutting around. He likes it on the left foot. He'll cut back though. Knocked down, still alive. Arslan strikes it. And on by Jay and in. And that is a goal. Charlie Dennis, that's pretty funny, went over to check. And it's another tally for Tormenta, and Greenville's defense letting the chances come through. It's 2-1 Tormenta. And Jad Arslan, final match day, and he has a brace. Brought to you by South Beach Tan.
Goal for Tormenta FC scored by number 21, Jad Arslan.
Again, a jumbled mess in the box, and it falls free on a platter to Tormenta. Right by Klaus. Jay got the save, but enough backspin there to fall into the back of the net and over the line. And you can see there on the replay, Arslan using his vision, just watching for the ball. That goal again brought to you by Jad Arslan and South Beach Tan & Company. And Greenville again having problems on defense. 2 given up in the first half. They gave up 2 to FC Tucson last week, but that was a second half comeback. Of course, Tormenta as well in this rivalry battle, looking for their first win over Greenville since that March 29th battle. Who would have thought 2 defensive-minded teams here in League One, and we have 3 goals on the board by minute 42. And that's just goals allowed, number 20 and 21 for Greenville this season. You can see it right there how crazy the season has been for Tormenta. It's the 4th time they have been behind and also led in the same match. Coming up at the half, we'll have a look at the USL 20 under 20 list. Those from League One featured 4 players, along with those highlights from the earlier match, Madison and Lansing, along with news and notes from around USL League One. Clouds all the way back, and right now Tormenta doing what they do best. Sit in a bit, let this run towards halftime. As right now, a 2-goal edge. In the Lansing point of view, Greenville would have to score 2 times to win 3-2 in order to host that semifinal. Otherwise, it's all for the Ignite. Here's Antley surveying things. He'll bat it downfield. Nicoletto knocks it on. Here's Evan Lee. Back over to Dallas J. Kevin Paulitz. There's Aaron Walker. In the contrast, Greenville, third time leading and trailing in the same match this season. Both these teams, it's kind of another world to see this many goals in a match. No foul there as Muhammad goes down, waved off by our head official. As Greenville leads the league in no-goal games with 5, Tormenta second with 4. Here's Micheletto. They'll launch in near side. Knutson had the pseudo assist on that first tally. The dangerous ball in, ricocheted back to Arslan. What a first half for Tormenta. Looking like the Tormenta we knew from the beginning of the season. They began the year with 29 points in their first 16. That goes out of play, back to Greenville. But keep in mind, these are two very much second half teams. Tormenta, 22 of their 29 goals coming in the second half, and for Greenville, 14 of their 31 this season have come in the final 30 minutes of matches. So a lot yet to be decided in this one. Polak, Muhammad in the box, strikes it beyond Hara. Back post was Bolin, but a little bit short on the run. That goes out of play. Goal kick for Pablo Hara. No look here. It's Polak again, finding a teammate in the box, but slicing it just wide. Hara was all over it. Two minutes of stoppage time, as you can see. That ball will roll into the Tormenta bench. Had a bit of rain roll through here in the afternoon, but gave way to a nice night here in Georgia. Dennis. Finding some room, Arslan to his right. He'll keep it for now. Now giving it over to Arslan, a brace today. Dennis will whip it into the box. Morel on the run, but out of play. With Donnelly out here today, John Harks also does not have as much depth on his bench. We'll see if he changes any tactics headed into the second half and how he approaches things. Knocked on by Walker, foul called from midfield, maybe one final chance for Greenville before halftime. Paul Clouds surveying, he'll drive this towards the box. Headed away, and that will do it for the first half, and a crazy one here in the 5th chapter of Tormenta and Greenville. Marked by that man, a brace in the first half, his first 2 goals of the season, and Jad Arslan has Tormenta in the lead at the break as it's 2-1 in favor of the home side off of 2 mistakes by the Greenville backline. A key to the match was Tormenta clearing the ball, but in fact, it's Greenville that has had the issues with it to this point. We're headed to the break here with our Optum Healthcare halftime report. 2-1 in favor of Tormenta. We'll be back shortly here with more coverage from Statesboro, Georgia.
Kick your internet into high gear with Bullet Broadband, a division of Bullet Telephone Cooperative. Hey, I'm John Scott, General Manager of Bullet Telephone and the new Bullet Broadband. Bullet Broadband offers the fastest internet speed in Georgia with managed Wi-Fi and speeds up to 1 gig. And if you're a business owner, we didn't leave you out. We can help increase productivity with computer networking, cloud hosting, custom emails, and the highest internet speeds around. Kick your internet into high gear and see what Bullet Broadband can do for you.
The Clubhouse in Statesboro, Southeast Georgia's best place to play. The Clubhouse in Statesboro, where fun is done.
We are world changers. We learn by doing, and our training prepares us for direct impact in our field. We are scholars. Even as undergrads, we work alongside our faculty to solve challenges facing our region, our state, and our world. We are leaders, experts, working with business and government partners for economic growth. This is Georgia Southern University, and we are the Eagle Nation.
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Welcome back here into Statesboro, Georgia, at the half between Tormenta and Greenville. This week in the USL, they announced the 20 under 20 list. It included 4 players here from USL League 1, 2 from Toronto, 2 from North Texas. Not too surprising here. Ronaldo Demas on the list, currently entering the weekend as the Golden Boot leader. Of course, Perusa wants to have a say against that tonight as he finishes up against Chattanooga at the moment. But Demas, can't say enough about him. 16 goals this year and has been fantastic on the second half of the season, and part of why North Texas is at the top spot in the league as we approach the playoffs next week. For North Texas, they started the year, though, with another face in Ricardo Pepe. He's seen more time with FC Dallas, but he has gotten his due here on this list for sure. He was the Golden Boot leader until Demas came along, but he can do some fantastic things on the field like that, and of course had the hat trick on the opening weekend of USL League 1 against Chattanooga. Really a fantastic player, can stretch the field, put pressure up top, and obviously pick off mistakes from the back, and he's a name to watch along with Ronaldo Demas into the future of North Texas and with the FC Dallas organization. Okello for Toronto FC2, one of those more holding midfield types that don't always get their due on the field, but he has been spectacular, finding some openings for the offense. He has 2 assists this season, including that one to Perusa on Wednesday, as the 2 20 under 20 stars in League 1 combined for this goal that equalized against Richmond on Wednesday. And for Perusa, he's also on the list here in the USL 20 under 20, and he's putting some pressure on Demas for the Golden Boot top spot. He's at 14 goals entering today, and of course finishing up his match right now along with Okello against Chattanooga, and all these players showing some international experience as well. So their future is definitely bright as we head into the future of League 1 and the rest of their careers. For Lansing and Madison, this was really the match to keep an eye on, especially in the afternoon slate here in the USL, and it served up so well with great action here in League 1. Chances early on by both sides, and it was Madison that got the initial touch into the back of the net. J.C. Banks wide open middle of the box and slotted it home past Cleveland, the flock in tow. A great showing out on the road, about a 5-hour drive from Madison to Lansing. And it was Banks that would draw this penalty as well that would give an opportunity for Madison to get the insurance tally, but Cleveland says no. One of the biggest acquisitions in the second half of the campaign in League 1. Cleveland getting the stop and keeping Lansing with their hopes alive. And they would get this chance late from Rafa, but unfortunately a save by Coulter, getting his first start in quite a while and allowing the stakes to be a bit higher tonight in Statesboro, Georgia, with now Greenville getting a chance at a home semifinal. Of course, Madison locking up a playoff spot with the win, and they will be facing North Texas coming up next week. Of course, this leaves Lansing and Greenville on the plate here, left to still be decided which one of these sides gets the number 2 seed overall and home semifinal rights headed into next week. Of course, they're both pretty even home and away. Greenville more to that at this point. as Lansing has been a stalwart in Cooley Law School Stadium. The interesting thing between these two sides, Greenville has had the overall edge, though. They've gotten 5 points over Lansing, including a win at home back on April 6th. Had 3 red cards in it, so some fantastic matches between the two this season. Here's the overall bracket to this point. We know it's going to be El Plastico for yet another edition coming up next Saturday night. Still to be seen if we have the other semifinal the Friday night or Saturday, and it will depend on who hosts this, of course, as well. 2 or 3, it's Lansing and Greenville, but who ends up in that 2 spot is what's so important here tonight in Statesboro, Georgia. Coming up, we take a look at an Eastern Conference battle for Wednesday night soccer in the USL Championship.
Long-range effort, oh, that's spectacular! From distance, and it's a goal! That's a great save, Van Oekel. That's it for Hartford Athletic!
Hamilton back out wide. Chance to put this in the penalty area. Chance, a goal! Devin Sandoval brings them to their feet in Albuquerque. A minute to play. Dia puts it in. Definitely headed away. Shot comes in. It's 2-2. Oh, can you believe it? From 2-0 down, Phoenix are level. Making the run, Mo Hernandez, edge of the box. Hernandez, great move, gets free. Hernandez gives SAFC the lead.
I told you the big man was feeling it tonight.
Low into the middle.
Oh, good shot. Goes right, gets the shot away, score! Nowhere to go for Lorendi.
Set up a shot, and it finds the corner. We're level at 2, and all of a sudden, game on here in Tucson. Puts this in the middle, looking for Ramos. Bingo! It's off the hands of Hara and in. The opening goal for Toronto FC 2.
Moape lost it. Boateng on the run. Boateng back in the net. Charles Boateng is first in league play.
To send it in. Headed away, couldn't get by the first man. Bermudez might come away with it, and he does! And there's nobody in goal! Greenville are going to score, and they're going to the playoffs! Greenville and Chris Bermudez!
News and notes from around USL League One. Union Omaha, one of the next clubs to join USL League One, unveiled their logo and name on Thursday, and they'll join next season for the 2020 campaign, harkening back to the Transcontinental Railroad days with the Union on the front of the city of Omaha. 20 under 20 list was released. 4 players from USL League One, as we mentioned, and Ziguro, the player of the week from Chattanooga, getting a win to stay alive in their playoff hopes that were ended, unfortunately, with Madison winning earlier today. Jordan Perusa up at 15 goals here in the season. Got one to force a 1-1 draw against Chattanooga that just went final. Ronaldo Demas in the end will be the Golden Boot winner here in the regular season with 16 goals, edging out Perusa by just 1. Arturo Rodriguez, fantastic this season. 10 assists. He's the only player in the top 10 of goals and assists here in League One. And really a top also in created chances has been spectacular, along with the names you see in front of you, including Connor Antley. Dallas J at the top of the GAA battle, giving up 2 in the first half. We'll see how the defense does for Greenville in the second half. Brian Silvestri not playing with Madison earlier today, but has been excellent in the second half of the campaign, along with the other keepers on your screen. Looking at the scoreboard, 2 games just going final. 1-1 Chattanooga and Toronto, but in the swan song for Braden Troyer, 2-0 win for the Richmond Kickers. Both assists by Moape, Shanoski, and Boateng finding the back of the net. And they win their final game of this 2019 season. You see the other results here from week 28. Here's our standings at this point. on the campaign in Greenville. They need a win tonight to host that semifinal. They are in the playoffs as the number 3 or even the number 2 if they win. So we'll see how they do in the second half. They need 2 goals to make that happen as they're down 1 at the break. Unfortunately for the USL family, losing one of the top players here across the USL Championship and Promise Isaac, unfortunately. So our thoughts and prayers, of course, are with the Austin Bold family and all of those that Promise Isaac has touched in his time on this earth. He was 31 years old. We'll be right back.
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Your future is within reach at Georgia Southern.
Discover one vibrant university with 3 distinctive campuses
and a world full of possibilities.
You'll be part of a proud legacy of academic excellence and innovation.
Expand your horizons with more opportunities than you've ever imagined and become your most exceptional self.
It's time to spread your wings. Come join us at Georgia Southern.
Come join us at Georgia Southern.
Come join us at Georgia Southern.
The Clubhouse in Statesboro, Southeast Georgia's best place to play. The Clubhouse in Statesboro, where fun is done.
As we finish off our Optum Healthcare halftime report, 2-1 Tormenta at the break. Take a look at highlights here from Statesboro, Georgia. And all Tormenta to this point after Greenville got an early start to their night, looking to get a win to host that semifinal next week. And Tormenta out and running on the wings, and Greenville's defense was standing tall early on as Dennis whips this over to Morel, and a diving stop from Dallas J. See it again, getting down with that right hand and knocking it away just at that back post, and keeping it 0-0 on the scoreboard. It was Greenville, though, that would strike first here on the road. Cameron saw a good run down the left flank onto Gomez, finding his 7th of the season into the back. And then another look here. Cameron saw back-to-back Team of the Week nods, and you can see why, creating and also scoring. In the last 2 weeks, it's Gomez with the goal, though. Early 1-0 lead on the road for the Triumph, but that would be quelled early as a chance would come in from Knutson, but it's not the initial chance. It's the rebound, still alive. Dennis puts it on, and Arslan putting it home. His first goal of 2019, maybe the biggest for Tormenta in this match and in the later stages of the season, potentially knocking away the dreams of Greenville. And those dreams would be knocked away maybe even further as the through ball to Dennis down the right flank. He would have a few good steps here, trying to cut around, find the right spot. Some chaos in the box. Players coming forward towards the ball, and it flicks on and through, and Arslan's there and gets enough power on it to get it by Jay despite the save. And he has a brace, his first 2 goals of 2019. And just like that, Tormenta has the lead at the break. They lead 2-1. And based on the current result on the board, it would be Lansing in the 2 spot and Greenville in the 3rd, traveling to Michigan for that semifinal either Friday or Saturday of next week. We're back here at Irk Russell Park, where Tormenta will start with possession. And it's kind of crazy. This is the match with the most goals combined between the 2 teams today, and probably the one we expected to be the most defensive in nature. It's 2-1 in favor of Tormenta. I'm glad to have you with us, as we're the final League One game standing here in the 2019 regular season, the final match day, and Tormenta looking for another as Micheletto continues to break the other way. Toronto and Chattanooga just going final 1-1, a late Perusa tally, equalizing that for the side from north of the border. And also going final 2-0 in favor of Richmond. A great story, Braden Troyer, his final match with the Richmond Kickers as he'll retire and hang up his number. And his side won 2-0, a great send-off from the Red Army there in Richmond, Virginia. But right here, it's a Sack Company corner kick for Tormenta. Micheletto will take it. Lofting it in, headed up by Antley. Sliced away, but the wrong direction for Cameron Saul, and this will trickle out of play. And funny enough, that's the first Sack Company corner kick of the match for Tormenta, despite this pressure into the opposing final third for Antley. Dennis whips it in, far side. This won't touch anyone, though. Goes out of play. It's a goal kick for Dallas J. Greenville already making a sub at the half, and this an interesting one. Kevin Paulitz coming off for Chris Bermudez. So a little bit more of an offensive sub for John Harkes and his squad. Bermudez started last week against Orlando City B on the opposite wing of Muhammad. I'll certainly try to get that combination going here tonight in the second half. But that sub will move Bolin back to a fullback spot. So we'll see how he affects the game now away from that winger position. Gomez passed the ball off. As you saw, he had the lone goal for Greenville in that first half. Goal number 7 on the campaign. So here in the second half, the top defense in League One, after giving up 2 goals in the first 45, has to find a way back, a comeback. They need 2 of their own in the second 45. To keep their hopes alive of hosting a semifinal at Legacy Early College. Walker, Muhammad. Back to the captain, Walker. He'll slice it to the far side. That's where he finds Dominic Bolin, the Limestone College grad. Greenville getting some possession going, trying to work things out of the back. Pollock through the legs of Arson, does not work out for the former St. Louis left back. Just all the way back over to Seiler and Dallas J. And it is an opportunity. You have to think that the Triumph can be a little bit more aggressive here in the second half. They locked down the 3 seed completely, barring a massive win by Tormenta of many, many goals. It will be the 3rd seed for Greenville nonetheless. So they can go after this a bit. Offsides, the flag goes up. This will be brought back against Omar Muhammad. I'm sure the assembly line and the Lansing fans over at Ozones in Lansing enjoying the results so far on the board. I'd like to welcome you into our ESPN Plus broadcast. Again, I'm Chris McKovic here bringing the action from Irk Russell Park. Regular season finale here in USL League One, and Tormenta trying to find their first win since July 24th. The first home win it would be in their last 12. As a foul is called against Aaron Walker, and Dennis winning the free kick. Down the left side, and it would also be the first win for Tormenta over Greenville since March 29th. Trying maybe to put an exclamation point on things as they head into next season, try to build the next roster here for Tormenta. This roster seeing so much influence from there. Tormenta 2 days in USL League 2. They still have that squad, but they were solely an organization with a League 2 squad until League 1 came about this year. As Gomez winning the foul and will be cycled back the other way. Just 1 yellow card in the first 45, and that going to Aaron Walker for Greenville. Micheletto did get 1 for dissent on the same play, excuse me. Those are the only 2 on the board. Tormenta back. 2 goals if you're just joining us, coming really from sloppy rebounds as Clouds wins it back. A foul is called against Manchester native. Seiler cuts back. Free kick to Greenville. Here's Muhammad. Finding some open space against the Australian, Josh Phelps. Ball worked in, but only Hara is there, and he'll scoop it up. He'll sling it downfield. Greenville 9-3-3 in their last 15, good for 30 points on the season. The second half of the season, I should say. Unfortunately, they down 1-0 and lost against Orlando City B last week, and might be headed for the same unless things change on the field here tonight. Again, J.J. Donnelly not in the 18 this evening, dealing with a bit of an injury here this week. Evan Lee heading it up. Bermuda slipping, he would have had possession otherwise. Here's Knutson. Vignals. Back starting for the first time since his injury against Greenville on August 3rd. Came off the bench against Toronto on, well, last Friday, I should say, and showed well. No brace here today. The holding midfielder that they really missed in their lineup is able to find the gap, spur on the offense. We've seen that this evening. Will be a throw-in on the near side from Connor Antley. Charlie Dennis goes down, draws the foul. He had the assist on the first goal for Arslan. He slipped and knocked the ball a little bit forward for that chance from Arslan. That got him the assist on it. Marco Micheletto over the ball. 2 assists this season, along with his 8 goals. Been the main penalty kick taker as well for Tormenta. He'll whip this one in. Knocked down, tried the offside trap. It's out of play. It's a goal kick in the end for Dallas J. Here's Klaus. Seiler. One back by Vignals. Seiler again batting it back the other way, but still Vignals. Now Dennis trying to fight away Evan Lee. He does over to Arslan. A brace so far tonight. What can he do here? Pollock goes down. A foul is called against Arslan, who would have had a hat trick there with that going in the back of the net. He's been a thorn in the side of the Triumph all evening. Another look here as he nearly got by Pollock, but a foul was called on the contact. This will be brought back for Tormenta free kick. A very physical battle to this point. Fitting of a rivalry here in minute 55. Antley lofts it, left flank. That's where Alex Morel is. We'll cycle back around Boland. Knutson lofts it in, headed away by Lee. Not far enough though. Knutson back to Phelps. Phelps also a front office position with Tormenta, Director of Franchise Development. In the offseason, part of a back line that has gone through so many different looks this year for Tormenta. They started as a back 3 against the Triumph in March. They've had a couple different changes with Lars Eckenrode going down. He's still out with his head injury, unfortunately. Knutson and also Phelps, they were the 2 center backs mainly, a couple of rotations on the fullback position. St. Ville in there at times. He's not in the 18 today, but he was the left back spot for quite a few matches over the season. Arslan takes it in. He's played both fullback spots at times this year. Micheletto falls on through, but Seiler clears it. But you can see, based on no Greenville kids chasing the ball, how many men are back for the Triumph trying to defend Tormenta at this point. Off Dennis, that will fall to Micheletto. He'll cycle back. Vignals has a go, but sails it up and out of play. It's a goal kick for Dallas J. Vignals, the Winthrop player, began his collegiate days at Union University in Division II, originally from Spain. Jay pushing up the numbers ahead of him. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Greenville recently announcing their first 2 academy signings of local upstate South Carolina products. Developing products at that. One going to Furman, the other Clemson coming up next year. As Muhammad will take the corner kick on the far side, first of the match for the Greenville Triumph. Omar Muhammad over the ball, 2 assists this season. Talking to in front of the near post as Saul and Gomez going after it. Our head official, Chris Ruska. Saul, 4 goals, 1 assist this season. See what Greenville has up their sleeve here. Rushing the box, service in, knocked on by Bolin. Lee with it, end line, Bolin the strike, but up out of play. Second quarter kick coming for the Triumph. Lee and Bolin able to find the contact they needed to force another set piece. Another look here. Bit of a jumbled mess as Bolin struck this one just wide, but deflection as well. Muhammad swings it in, headed up by Phelps all over that one. Vignals heads it on, but it's back with Muhammad. Here's Gomez. Boland. Knocked down, top of the box, struck by Klaus, falls free on a platter. Second strike coming, and just wide. How is it not 2-2 after that? You can see it on the expression of Skelton. He knew how close that was. Klaus struck it. Bermudez there, but so was Gomez. He played it across, and Bermudez just putting it wide. So close for the Triumph to equalize here in minute 60. Back the other way on the foul. Greenville getting some momentum here. Tormenta, they've been all over things in terms of their possession, 57% at this point. Pollock flicks it ahead. Saul can't bring it down, and it will trickle back to the Wingate grad in Pablo Hara. Micheletto, Dennis. Back to Dennis on the run. You see Antley stepping up from his right back spot more centrally now. Vignals. They'll have a go, but again sails it out of the stadium. Another goal kick for Dallas J and Greenville. Again, Greenville 5-4-4 this season on the road. They've not had a win in Irk Russell Park, though. They've only played here one other time, and that was back, of course, on March 29th. All three other matchups came at Legacy Early College. As Muhammad takes it in on the left side. Polak. Right back to Phelps, and it will stay with Tormenta. Reminder here in minute 62 at the half, Harks used his first substitution, bringing on Bermudez for Paulitz. Tormenta yet to use a substitution to this point. Tormenta really slowing the game down here in the second half. These two teams very similar in the style they play. As you saw, Tormenta 3 shots on target out of 9 shots. Greenville, they have 6, but just that one on target, that one coming from Gomez. Otherwise, they have not really tested Hara to this point. Here's Lee stepping up, the former Richmond kicker. Left side with Polak, picking his head up, trying to find Muhammad. Deflected out in the third corner kick of the match, going the way of the Triumph. Gomez will head over and take it. He has 5 assists this season. Packing the box, trying to crowd Hara. Sails in back post, but the only one there is Antley. Bermuda's on the run. He'll flick it on and just by and away. That's a throw in on the far side for Tormenta, quickly taken, and Polak and Greenville get it right back. Now, if there's one thing Greenville knows about, it's recovering on a corner kick, as they were able to score their playoff clinching goal against Tucson last week. A runaway goal with the keeper up the field in stoppage time. And it was Chris Bermudez, and his second of the year, maybe the biggest for the Triumph, getting 3 points out in Arizona. Tormenta getting set to make their first substitution of the match. We're hearing it is going to be Vignals making way. See, of course, how that changes their formation, kind of out of order with that substitution. We're hearing Rowe will be the one coming on a forward for that central midfield roll out there. It would be Micheletto then dropping back. Here's Antley. Dennis. Arslan, a brace today, his first 2 of the season. You see Mikey Rowe on the sideline, waiting to come on. Past Lee, and over to Jay. Over the top, and back to Tormenta just like that. Final regular season game in this 2019 USL League One campaign. All other matches have gone final. And Greenville so much on the line in this match. Tormenta not able to make the playoffs, but would love to spoil the party for Greenville, who wants to host the semifinal as the number 2 seed coming up next week with a win today. Dennis keeping it. Dennis alive, shoots it, but a pretty hefty deflection on it by Seiler. Looping ball past Micheletto. Here comes Muhammad. Cuts it back, top of the box, Saul, but can't find Gomez. Another touchback by the Spaniard, but only finds Gomez. That was the sit back and counterattack that John Milracy warned us about with the Triumph. It's what they've been so good at in the second half of the campaign. Here's Gomez. Off his teammate Dennis and falls to Evan Lee. Here's Walker. Bat this down the field over the top. A good look for Bermudez, but he won't get there in time. Phelps will bring it in. Captain of Tormenta 2 last year. 26 appearances over his 2 years with the League 2 side, formerly USL PDO. And again, with that win by Madison earlier today, Greenville win tonight, they will clinch number 2 seed in a home playoff game. Otherwise, the assembly line and Lansing fans everywhere will be watching Lansing host that semifinal next week, either Friday or Saturday. North Texas already set to host the semifinal against Madison on Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time start on that. Here comes Morrell, trying to get by Bolin, put into the signage. And it's a corner kick brought to you by the Sack Company. But first, 2 substitutions. Rowe coming on for Vignals, and Travis Ward now we're hearing coming on for Cameron Saul. We'll see if that's official once the sign comes up. And indeed it will be. New legs at the top of the formation for Greenville. We'll see how they truly change things out there. Ward has 1 goal this season. That came at Lansing in a 1-1 draw earlier this year. Vignals coming off his first start since August 3rd due to his injury. Looking good out there, helping Tormenta to a 2-1 lead here in minute 69. Rowe comes on. 3 goals, 1 assist this season for the Irishman. Now it's time for our Sack Company corner kick. That went totally the wrong way for Micheletto. Gomez battling with Bermudez. Heavy contact there on the spinning move. This has to be a card. Indeed it will be on Bermudez. Looked like there was some contact there in the air. Chris Bermudez in the books just like that. His 5th of the year. Very late to get to the ball as well as Gomez went down. 2nd yellow for Greenville here tonight. Now Walker and Bermudez in the books. Gomez being tended to, making sure he's all right after that contact to the head here in minute 70. Fans, you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN through the 2022 season. The USL is excited to announce that the championship in League One will remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 games on ESPN Deportes. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Again, both of those semifinals coming next week will be here on ESPN Plus. One Saturday night, the other be Friday or Saturday. Stay tuned to USLLeague1.com for the latest. It will depend on this result. Skelton with a free kick. Brought down by Dennis, fighting through traffic. He'll lose it. Walker there. Knocks it on to Bermudez. Good run from Gomez. He has Muhammad centrally. Plays it out wide. Ward the strike, but knocked away by Knutson. Number of bodies in the way of Ward's strike there. But Greenville back on the attack. Gomez kept it alive by moving centrally, but now given away out of play. Have a look here. Good coverage in the end by Skelton. And Knutson able to get the stop here. There remains at one shot on target for Greenville. Back to Walker, flicks ahead. Here's Muhammad. Out of play, a throw in on the far side. Muhammad tugged down, foul is called. It rolled into the arms of Hara. And a free kick from the right side for the Triumph. This is similar to where they gave up the Orlando City B goal last Friday night, but this time in the favor of Greenville. Now look here, pretty clear grab at the jersey. Bermudez over the ball, signaling the play here. Lofts it in, danger, but headed away. And Antley will track after it and clear it downfield. Bermudez up the right side. Now Ward. Cuts back around, puts the ball in. Lofts it over everyone though. Pollock all the way up the field trying to get the stop. Walker. Which way is this going? And it will go to Tormenta, won by Arslan. Still 2-1 in favor of Tormenta. Greenville needs 2 goals to get that home semifinal. Pollock takes it in on the near side. Bermudez trapped by Antley. Pressure from Rowe. Now Greenville will try out the far flank. Boland stepping up. There's Ward, through ball. Boland after it, but Skelton there first. Good combo play from Tormenta. Here they come on the run. Morel, Dennis, but tackled away by Pollock. What a stop by the Greenville left back. And he remains down in the box. Tackle from behind. And Rowe into the book with a yellow card on his tackle of Bermudez. Trainers will be waved on for Pollock, who's slowly getting up after he saved a shot. Look at this stop again. Dennis had a point-blank chance, but Pollock racing to get there first, and indeed he does. Looks like he took a hit on the shoulder there, and then Rowe, pretty obvious tackle from behind, and the infraction. He gets into the books for the 4th time this season. Jay will have the free kick. You can see Pollock moving off the field under his own power, which was good to see for Greenville. Nearly half of the Triumph goals this year have come in the final 30 minutes of matches. We're into the final 15 now as Gomez is called for that foul. Bermudez already on a yellow card. Day one, we all thought that Tormenta would be in the hunt for the playoffs and would have a say in those playoffs. Well, they're not in them, but they're having their say today, and they're letting everyone know that they're still here when they're fully healthy. Up 2-1 now, trying to ruin the hopes and dreams of their regional rival. Chapter 5 of Greenville Tormenta, but I'm sure we'll have many more in 2020. Ball lofted in, but Jay is right there at the near post, trying to spur the attack the other way. Up the field is Muhammad, headed back by Skelton though. The addition from the League 2 Tormenta side. It's been a welcome one at that for John Milracy. Near side out of play, and it's a throw in at midfield for Greenville. John Milracy led that League 2 side. He was the League 1 Coach of the Month back in March and April. Head coach of the 2018 Deep South Division champions in League 2 and Tormenta 2. And a free kick is won just inside the sideline, and we'll see how Greenville takes this opportunity. And have a quick word with John Harks on the near side as well. As Muhammad goes down, pretty clear tackle by Arslan. Polak will take it. 3 assists this season. Off of Arslan, an easy hop towards Hara, and he'll hold on to that one. Ball down the field. Here's Bermudez, and he'll knock it on back to Dallas J. Who's up, who's down, where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL League 1 Power Rankings, only on USLLeague1.com. Through ball up ahead. Dennis there knocks it on, and saved by Jay. Standing tall against Rowe. Knutson will have the throw-in on the far side. Point blank chance for the Irishman off the bench. Jay keeps his team alive in this match. Muhammad after it, cleared by Hara. Gomez lofts it. Antley, is he onside? Indeed he is. Shoots it, and back of the net for Connor Antley. This all but may seal the first victory since July 24th for Tormenta. And it's Connor Antley on the break, slotting one home, number 6 on the season. 3-1 Tormenta. Catching the back line of Greenville sleeping, and Antley puts it home. Greenville wanted the offsides, they did not get it. Number 6 on the year puts number 3 on the board for Tormenta tonight. They haven't won in their last 11, but they may be headed for it now. And up at Ozones in Lansing, Michigan, they're celebrating because Greenville now needs 3 goals to get that home semifinal in the last 10 minutes. That goal brought to you by Connor Antley and South Beach Tan. Aaron Walker and Greenville back on the ball, down 3-1. Most goals allowed since that 3-1 defeat to FC Tucson at home in the second half of the campaign. Sammy Gadiri is on now for Greenville. That'll be the third and final sub for the Triumph, as they try to hold on to hope here late on. Luckily for John Harks and his side, they are already into the playoffs. That is offsides and back to Tormenta. Free kick here, as Har will come up and take it. Lee plays it on back. Here's Polak. Gadiri down the field. Here's Ward. Keeps it in play right at the end line. Back with Boland, over to Walker. Polak left side. He'll sweep it in. Headed up and away. Walker losing it to the goal scorer, Antley. Knocks it over to Micheletto. Officially the assist going to Gomez on that Antley tally. Gadiri commits the foul. It's a free kick for Tormenta. Frustrating night continues for the Triumph here into the 84th. But Tormenta, a bit of redemption here at the end of the season. Haven't won in their last 11, but they may see that tick into the win column on the final match day in the 2019 regular season. Foul called. And it's back over to Tormenta as the foul came against Travis Ward. Up and out of play, throw in for Greenville here on the near side. But for the Triumph, unfortunately, they've given up now 4 goals in their last 2. They've only scored once as well. Over to Polak. Muhammad, he was onside. Bermudez, still Bermudez, goes down, no foul called, and Antley will win a goal kick. So the 2 hot teams you have to argue entering the playoffs will be that 1-4 matchup. Forward Madison, who made it to the final match day to clinch, and then North Texas, who won convincingly last night over FC Tucson. Gadiri the strike, but curling one well wide of that right post. And Madison, as well as beat North Texas twice this year. Sets up an enticing edition of that matchup. That'll be the 5th time they play all season. It's funny enough how the scheduling worked out. Every team plays another team 4 times, and that was their 4-timer. Helping this regional rivalry develop. These 2 teams facing 4 times in league play, including today, and then once as well in the U.S. Open Cup. Muhammad, quick turn. Slices it back over. Chance for Greenville, back post and in! No, it will come back. So a goal called back for each team in this game tonight as Chris Bermudez was offsides. That's number 4 in the match for the Triumph. Leads to a Hara goal kick. Another look here, see if we can spot it. It was Antley guarding that back area. Bermudez just a step off. Dallas J takes it in. Close to setting our 2 semifinals in stone. There would be Greenville visiting Lansing next week. Those are 2 teams that haven't played in quite a while. All 3 of their matches came in the first half of the year. A draw in Greenville, a draw in Lansing, but they started things off in April. A 2-1 win in favor of Greenville. A late Paulitz header in the back of the net on a corner kick was the difference. Morrell goes down, tugged from behind by Ward. And it's a free kick for Tormenta and a booking for the Rowan graduate. Another look here. Ward came up with his right hand and tugged back a bit. Rowe and Micheletto stand over the ball. We know Rowe can hit some of these. Hell of a go, strikes it, and saved at the near post by Jay. Nearly out of his hands. Stays with Greenville. Not expecting too much stoppage time. Out of play and back over to Tormenta. Headed on by Gomez. Still up in the air as Lee. Dennis. Strong up there, creating the chances for Tormenta. Still fighting. He has an assist tonight. He goes down. And a goal kick won by Cole Seiler. Ward flicks it up ahead. Good run by Gomez down the right side. He'll have to hold it back, though, as Skelton recovered quickly. Ward in. Floats on through, but past Bermudez and curled away by Micheletto. There's Polak. Gadiri. Walker. Gadiri. Gomez box, cuts it back over, but can't get the shot off. Bermudez keeps it alive. No one in the box, though, headed away. 3 minutes of stoppage time here at Irk Russell Park. Gadiri strikes it, and into the arms of Hara, diving to his right. It's amazing as well as Tormenta has only used one sub in this match, bringing on Rowe. There's Morrell. Still Morrell, keeps it in play. Dennis there, but knocked away by Lee. Burning some time off the clock. Here is that second substitution, and it will be Nick Wells coming on in the stead of Charlie Dennis. Dennis with 1 assist tonight on that initial Jad Arslan goal. As Wells comes on for appearance number 13 on the season. Former Georgia Southern player. But just 60 seconds remaining here in stoppage time, keeping Tormenta from their first victory since July 24th. Winless in their last 11, and it won't be 12. Here comes their third and final sub. Meekum coming on for Micheletto. A round of applause from the Tormenta faithful for Micheletto, creating chances out there. The Italian midfielder will walk off. The 3-1 scoreline on the board in favor of his side. Here's Wells. Out of play, throw in. Tormenta killing off the final few seconds. Here's Walker. Gadiri. Foul call, back to Tormenta. This will surely do it. And that's it. After such a hot run of form for Greenville, they finished the season with 2 losses. Thanks to that man and his side, John Milracy and Tormenta, seeing their first victory since July 24th. Winless in their last 11, winless no more as they finish out the season, winning 3-1. Their third comeback victory of the year, a league-leading 3 comeback wins after Greenville had the initial tally in this one, spoiling the hopes of the Triumph. The assembly line and the Lansing supporters celebrate in Michigan as Lansing Ignite will host a semifinal at Cooley Law School Stadium coming up next week against the Greenville Triumph. So we're all set in our playoff matchups. And Jad Arslan, the brace today, the first 2 goals for Tormenta, first 2 of his season, and he is our Powerade man of the match for Tormenta this evening. Tormenta, what a showing here tonight, winning 3-1 over the Greenville Triumph, getting their first win since March 29th over the Triumph. And the season series finishes in all 5 matchups in all competitions, 2-2-1 for each side. Coming up, we'll take a look at highlights and stats from tonight's match, 3-1 Tormenta.
There was a time when advertising was much more simple. Technology may have changed the way people live, but it offers you exciting new ways to market your business.
That's why CAC keeps up with all the latest trends and advertising methods to help you reach your customers wherever they are.
Targeted, focused internet and television advertising. CAC is your marketing partner that makes it all simple again and makes it all work together for you.
Contact us today and let's keep moving your business forward together.
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Kick your internet into high gear with Bullet Broadband, a division of Bullet Telephone Cooperative. Hey, I'm John Scott, General Manager of Bullet Telephone and the new Bullet Broadband. Bullet Broadband offers the fastest internet speed in Georgia with managed Wi-Fi and speeds up to 1 gig. And if you're a business owner, we didn't leave you out. We can help increase productivity with computer networking, cloud hosting, custom emails, and the highest internet speeds around. Kick your internet into high gear and see what Bullet Broadband can do for you.
Welcome back here into Statesboro, Georgia. Our Sack Company save of the match here for Tormenta. Keeping their lead alive was Knutson, stopping this attack from Travis Ward late on as Gomez spurred the attack down the field. Knutson getting our Sack Company save of the match with that stop here at Irk Russell Park. Tormenta celebrating a 3-1 victory, their first since late July. What a way to end the season against their rivals as well. Snapping their 11 winless streak, as Arslan bagging 2 early on as we check out our highlights from tonight's match, finishing off the League One regular season in 2019. Tormenta and Greenville, 5th matchup in all competitions, and early on a lot of pressure from Tormenta on the break from the wings, able to create from it, as a few ricochet chances would come, including that one by Morrell, but Jay getting down, getting the stop, probably his top save of the night, coming early on. It would be Greenville that would strike first, though, as they have of late. Saul creating the opportunity over to Gomez. He struck it true and into the back of the net. Just 1 of 2 shots on target this evening for the Triumph, and that came early on, 1-0 in favor of Greenville. But Greenville would see their second loss when scoring first this season, as Tormenta came out strong after giving up that tally. Knutson puts it in, but watch Dennis with the little flick here, keeping it alive for Arslan, who came up for an easy goal, his first of the season. What a big one at that, equalizing, getting the hopes back for Lansing to have that home semifinal coming next week. Arslan would not be done yet, too, as more chances would come off miscues at the back. This one would be called back as Arslan heads it in. And Micheletto knocking down Jay. That was deemed a foul at the end of the day. And there it is, the wave off coming from Chris Ruska, our head official. The attack would continue to come for Tormenta as they caught Greenville up the field multiple times. Here's Dennis on the right side. He would cut in and create an opportunity. Little deflection here. And watch who's just waiting there for the ball to pop out. Jad Arslan knocking it home. Little backspin to it. Gets it just over the line, and that's enough for another tally. And that would seal the fate of Greenville. 2-1, the lead early on. Greenville will get some chances later on, but not really much would fall for them. This chance coming from Klaus falls to Gomez in the end, but Bermuda is putting it just wide. That would have equalized it at that point and certainly would have made it a whole different ball game later on in the match. Instead, goes just wide, trickling beyond that far post. Watch this service from Gomez, deep downfield. An open run by Antley. He's onside, and he'll finish this home for goal number 6 on the season for one of the MVP or Defender of the Year candidates with his offensive progress. And Antley seals the deal. 3-1 to Tormenta. Watch that shot count. 13-10. Tormenta leads it, but 6-2 shots on target. A physical battle ends tonight in favor of Tormenta. Their first win again since July 24th. And what a way to put an exclamation point on their season. And this is how the standings end here in 2019 in USL League One. The top 4 make the playoffs. Chattanooga missing it by just 3. But it'll be Madison against North Texas and Greenville visiting Lansing. Here's our bracket. And both semifinals will come next Saturday night. Lansing, they'll start it at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And North Texas, they'll start theirs at Frisco at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All set for it. And excited are all four of these teams making the inaugural playoffs here in USL League One. And check out the websites and social media of North Texas SC and Lansing Unite for ticket information if you're interested in traveling out to the match. Or, of course, also join us here on ESPN Plus for exclusive coverage of both matches coming up next Saturday night. The Tormenta having their say. It turns out in the end of things this evening, they get the 3-1 victory over their rivals. So sweet for them and Lansing as the Ignite will host a semifinal coming up next weekend. I'd like to thank our entire crew. Thanks for watching all season. Continue next week for our semifinals. I'm Chris Makoviak. We'll see you next time for more USL League One action. Tormenta 3-1 victory for them at home. Their first since July 24th. What a way to end the League One campaign.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.